Welcome back, and thank you very much for over 40 subscribers for the last video, which got just 600 views. This is amazing. This is my, not for the most views, but honestly amazing. I'm very happy. And there I leveled up to 3 other characters, and now I update older ones. So what's the difference between this one? This have a lot of health, maximum 91k in PvE and over 100k as Emperor in the PvP. And you see here, this is a phase where I take a lot of damage, and also if the other dies you can slowly, this is now veteran 2 on vet, and sits pretty hard. And with this build you can really survive all vet bosses by your own, or make a pleasure your group. Or in the PvP you are a supporter Emperor with over 100k of health with this build if you like. Yeah, the mechanic build makes that bigger are your health and under 50% of health by the vampire passive you take 33% less damage. This is amazing how much less damage I take under 50% of health, which is still 40k. Here my friend Ice Age 82, a really awesome player. He need a heavy helmet in invigorating or whatever trade you can transmute that, and got the crystals practically all weeks free. And yeah, what is to say about the build? What's the big difference? Okay, quick here about the skill with the killer blade and surprise attack, and then here with the finisher, which you give him a 30% less health recovery. With light attacks I made 10% again, 40%. You can practically kill pretty good one by one, not more. Makes not so damage, but can takes a lot of damage. Here max health, max stamina recovery. The vampire, really important for this build. The lord, which pushes up the max health with both sets then, and minor toughness by the Warpoet set, you will see that later. Here 82k of health, this is with my main skills with 2k of recovery, and if I drink obviously the potion the recovery goes up to 2300 of stamina recovery, which is really needed for this function of this build, and 30k of bolt resistance with 0 crit, because I can take damage. You could make 1500 of crit and then you have a little bit less of bolt resistances. Here 91k in the PvE is possible, that's the max with the max food stat. And yeah, why this build? Because I pull, my goal is to take the damage, so they have to concentrate me on me, and with exclusive mist I can go behind the frontiers and just nerf them a little bit, then the other ones can interrupt and kill them when I make confusion. Voila, that's it. And okay, it's nothing about DPS. You see, that's the maximum what you can have, 96k of health. If you have the Emperor buff, over 100k of health. This is 5 Black Doctor, 2 separate sets with health recovery, 1 trade, and the Warpoet in the combo for each, then over 100k of health if you got the Emperor buff on the top. And for reaching that we have then also the Elydian wall here. Here we go, 30 minutes, 10% again health. Every 30 minutes you can go to the wall for half this buff if you like, but mostly runs out, but you have health anyway. So yeah, this is for this max health cap, which doesn't exist on health recovery and max health, which I find it out. 32% of crit with around 2k of weapon damage, 30k from both resistances by your shimmering shield. And yeah, obviously I wanna run with Orzargas, so I have just 92k of health with 2350 of stamina recovery, which I need for my boat shields for survive forever. And with DealthPool you can play a little bit around. You can make 12k of stamina, boat pools if you like, take a little bit of health. Yes, this is less stamina, but it is possible to kill people, burn slowly down. Structured entropy, this is double slotted, major sorcery over 20 second and 8% of health, which is really important on both bar double slotted. That gives you back in 3 seconds your 90k of health. Every second 24% of your max health. That you have to try. This is you can teleport you away, and gives the whole time when the shade shoots 15% of less damage. On the top I use then this shield which swaps back at 36% of the incoming melee attack damage, and this, the main function for this reason is so high the stamina recovery. Then surprise attack, because you give a major fracture for 70.3 seconds, and when you are hidden, for example, you can stun him. These are the main. Reducing the speed by 70% makes every second damage and reduces a 30% less damage, because then on the back bar, when I see, okay, this is now double slotted here on the back bar, the next skill, Explosive Mist, I take 75% less damage. When you stay in there, you can pop off your potion and you can stay in a 70.3 seconds. I tested out. That means if you stay there like a pillar, and not it's like here in this video, but if you stay on the place, you are really immortal over 70 seconds. And this is not a joke. Player cannot take you down in 20 people. I tested out. Explosive Mist, really awesome. The Mirage, which gives you major expedition, really hot, so they cannot get you with this max health and both shields, really insane, and gives even more from both resistances. This one absorbs 25k of damage, and every shoot gives you 18% of max health back. This is the second way which you can take back your health by incoming shooting things, and the other one is on 12 meters nearly with invigorating drain, which gives you major or minor heroism, so you can boost up your ulti even faster. This one very functional. When you block, you take less damage, 8% plus cost less and all. Killer Blade, because that's I chose it on the back bar, the ulti, for reducing 30% of health recovery. Plus I stun him 4.5 seconds. 6k of disease damage look not so high, but when that crit goes over 11k, and that's pretty cool. With Killer Blade I can then burn him slowly down, or with surprise attacks like main spam ability, then swap back to Killer Blade. And with the light attack on the champion points I made a 10% again less health recovery, so you can burn him down slow, because this is not the max DPS build. This goes first to the Immortel, and then I made the best for DPS. Minor toughness is because of the Warpoet set here. Every 30 minutes you could run to get this 10% health buff on the top with Lord. Important. Vampirism very important, because when I got 50% less health, 33%, this is a lot. Sounds a lot and is a lot on this build. So I have 40k of health and they don't make no more damage. So the best way is if you try it out by yourself, and then you will smile and have fun on this build. PvE wise, it is good for take down wet bosses by yourself if you need a helmet or something, and in the PvP then you have to round in a group for being an emperor or something else if you don't if you like to have it. And yeah, 37% of crit on the executioner bar, that's not so bad. The most people run with 40% of crit in the PvP in Vivek. So if Incapacitating Strike costs you 70 ulti points, I have up this ulti the whole time and I can burn him down. 20% is a classic Science 4 year in ESO for break free. Siphoner with Incapacitating Strike makes a 40% of less health recovery plus 10% stamina and magicka. You give him less recovery. This 14% which goes with your stamina pool together, and he has 65. You could take off a little bit and put in tumbling, but I practically never dodge roll with this build. I can stay on the place and eat the damage. Blessed goes with your stamina recovery pool, and yeah, Very important is this one, 80% less magicka cost for your next exclusive mist for then survive 70 seconds, be immortal. Here just on light and heavy attack at 13% and 10% on direct damage, because when I block the next 7 seconds I increase at 30% additional damage on this light and heavy attacks. When I block I swap back, I have a chance to swap back damage, but I practically never block on this build. Here 19% plus 10% as a nightblade makes 29%, 3000 of penetration and 10% of additional poison disease and normal damage. And exploiter, when is off balanced by bashing or in situation, stacks up the whole damage by 10% again. 23% against direct damage. Very cool, I like that. If you don't like, you take a little bit points off and you put the rest in resistant. You could have 50, 100 of crit raises if you like, but I run like that. And thick skin, 90% versus damage over time, because here as a okay, vampire, you never go down by fire damage. 81% in the bastion, that can I guarantee you is key on this build, and that's what's pretty much for the points. When you like tanks and you like max health mechanic tanks, you will surely try out this build, and then in the champion tree passive you will see 1111 of resilient. I cannot say this passive right, but means every crit which comes in gives you 1100 of health, and when 5-6 crits come in, that heals you very good up with your sword magic, and then invigorating drain, which is practically or almost fast. A direct heal can be interrupted, that heal, so beware. But in a chaos of a Zerg you can always heal you up. And also in the PvE, very important and special, you can burn down 6 million bosses by yourself. Not by everyone, because not every mechanic let that do you, but the most 90% of wet dungeon you can then complete alone if your buddies don't have time or foresee how much damage it takes. Yeah, and what's the big difference between this and the health recovery build? These are very much more immortal against a lot of people, and the health recovery build is more for small scale, but both are really sick builds. And this is the second build, troll build for Summerset, which comes out. Then the Templar build, I will do it same. The choiced sets are same like the last before updated DealthPool Immortal tank build, and these are still the best sets which fits together. And here you see a Wartman Bosmer that will come out too. I'm a little bit retarded related, but I hope you can enjoy this content same. That was Sky. I say you thanks. I see you soon. Bye. LOL, there I'm wearing 5 million PP. How long can be this buff? This buff list, damn, 1-2 meters long this buff. How many buffs you can have in PP? What the hell? Buffinator, 5 million, looks pretty sick. There I made it the build, then 5 heavy and 2 medium. Just healing, receiving skill points here. It's a new character, just kidding, guys. Warden, very OP, and many people say this is best in slot for PvP. A stam Warden, of course, right? And many people hate my hate pool because they cannot take it down, this 90k of health, and they dislike it and say just noobs play this build. But if you're gonna play the DealthPool, you will reach things you never believe it. You never will believe it. What you guys think I post shit builds there? This is because I love you guys. I do this for my fun and for you, obviously. So I thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. I see you soon. I'm out in 1 sec. Bye.